All right, ladies and gentlemen. So in this video, we'll talk about how you can work with us, or basically what our services are. So I think that by now, hopefully, you know that my name is Louis and I'm the founder of MSP Launchpad. And the whole goal of MSP Launchpad is to grow your MSP as conveniently as possible. Right? You are crazy busy, most likely. You need a lead generation slash MSP growing solution that makes sense to fit your busy lifestyle. So MSP Launchpad, right? So here, for example, we have Jeremy, and he said that he got results quickly and without much effort. He also, by the way, says that he's never really seen results before us, and he cycled through multiple agencies before he got to us. Then here we have Chris, who says that we're transparent, responsive, always willing to go the extra mile, and have incredible lead generation results. And here we have Roshi. She's from a top 25 MSP, Divergent, and she says that the leads are funneling through as projected, and that we can help bring her vision to life and really bring strategic thinking to the table. So MSP Launchpads, we want to help you grow your MSP in a way that makes sense for you. And the approach that we've chosen is to generate what we think are the best kind of leads, right? So the leads that would almost remind you of referrals, real businesses reaching out to you wanting to buy your stuff. And so, for example, Matt here had to expand on his onboarding team. So the fact that he has one is already cool, but the fact that he had to expand on it is even more awesome. At least at the time of recording this video or testimonial, you can find all of this on our website and watch these videos yourself. But he was onboarding 5 MSP contracts at the same time. And honestly, who knows how many he's doing right now, right? So if you are also excited to just have incredible lead generating results and a really good partner that can do it where all the previous ones may or may not have failed, then yay. So here's what you need to know. If you want to succeed, then it's really about a combination of 2 things. So not only do you need to be visible and ranking, preferably in a huge range and all these things, which is something that's a number of MSPs at least achieve. The real secret sauce, the real trick, the differentiator is actually making sure that out of the 50 MSPs that a prospect is going to find, that they pick you, right? So it's about that communication, it's about that offer, it's about that positioning, it's about that target market fit, etc. And that is really what you want to achieve. And if you do that, so you have that huge range, you have that massive visibility so that everyone in your market knows about you, but then they also pick you, then it's really not uncommon at all to get multiple leads a day. So, and here's, for example, what a prospect would see, right? So a prospect would just go on Google Maps because, surprise, people do care about the position of the MSP that they're going to be working with. Logically, right? It's kind of like emergency response to some businesses. And while you can help remote, most businesses still care about how far away you are. So they would often use Google Maps to search. This is one of the avenues that we generate leads. But they're going to find 50. And most MSPs here, they're ranking to some degree or another, but they still get 0 leads, right? So clearly it's not just about the ranking. Most of these MSPs, they really never stand out. So the goal, again, is to crack through the noise, cut through the noise, because on the other side, that's where all the leads are awaiting you. So here we have Lee, 13 or actually 14 leads in the first month after his new website and his new presence went online. Sounds like a dream. Well, not to him, it's just reality. Out of those 13 or 14 leads, 4 of them also closed, because these are, when I say leads, I mean an actual sales qualified lead. I don't mean information, I don't mean garbage. I mean actual high quality sales qualified leads. That's what I'm talking about when I use the word leads. That's what you need to think. Okay, so here's the MSP Launchpad formula, and the text on this is kind of small. Sorry about that. So I will just read it out to you in case you this is too small for your screen. But basically, what you get when you work with MSP Launchpad is that you get actual proper MSP marketing. So this comes on top of awesome rankings. It comes on top of all the digital visibility. We make sure that businesses actually choose you, and we have the results to back this up. We are very good at this. With us, you also get crazy production quality. So if you work with us to get maybe your website redone, or really whatever it takes in order to generate that inbound lead flow, you know that what you're going to get is probably going to be the very best in your city. Then also we guarantee our work, and we base our guarantees on the leads generated, because in the end, that's what it's all about. So yeah, we do actually guarantee our performance, and I know that almost no one does, but we're pretty freaking confident. Then the leads that you will be getting through this system, so aside from the visibility and the target market fit and all these things, what that really results in is the leads generated. And I like to call them kind of like referral style leads, because that's really how you should see it, right? If you just grow through referral, you're kind of like sitting, and of course you're working your ass off, but every once in a while you just get a notification, hey, someone wants to do business with you. And that's really how that is. So these are really pure bottom of the funnel sales qualified leads that come to you from real local businesses. So typically that's 20 to 80 endpoints. That's going to depend on your positioning. That's going to depend on a number of things. We'll dial that in together. But generally 20 to 80 endpoints, maybe a little bit larger, maybe a little bit smaller. That depends on who you are. And they reach out to you because they feel you are the best fit for them. So they're really reaching out to you because of the things you are particularly good at, which means you're going to get more of your ideal customers. And that then also means that the closing rate on deals tends to be between 20 to 40%, which is really nice and high. Short sales cycles, averaging a month, which is also shorter, I think, than usual. So yay to all of that. Sales qualified leads. Also, not unimportant is that, again, we understand that you're busy, and we also understand that you want to be efficient with your capital. And of course, there's multiple ways that lead to Rome, right? There's all sorts of things that you could do in marketing lands. You can try cold calling, you can try LinkedIn messages, you can try nurturing, and all these things. But the reality is that prospects are married to their MSPs and they don't want to swap. And if you're going to be nurturing and you're going to be doing this and you're going to be doing that and you're going to be cold calling, then really what you're doing is you are also investing in things that are less effective. So what we prefer to do instead is just to invest in a thing that's most effective. I mean, after all, there's limited time on your end, there's limited resources on your end, right? And you want us to optimize your results. So we stick to the 2080 principle, and we just ruthlessly optimize that when MSPs are really finally so fed up that they want to swap, that they find you and they pick you over all the others. Now, you can't do that for every single prospect in the market because, again, you were trying to attract your ideal clients. We want you to cut through the noise, and you can't do that by shouting the same generic nonsense as every other MSP, right? So the messaging and the communication between you and who you're trying to attract, that's really what's going to make all of this work. And by ruthlessly focusing on that, you're going to get way more of your ideal clients from your local market. And that's really what we want to achieve. So the 80/20 principle is what we optimize for in order to make sure that you just get your money's worth from us. And the result then, of course, is that, businesses will contact you, they will call you, they'll fill in the forms on your website, they'll send you emails, and you just literally pick up the phone as these businesses reach out to you. So in a way, you could almost say that it's not accurate to say that we generate leads for you. It's probably more accurate to say that we help you become the kind of MSP that generates the leads itself. Of course, we will do the monthly work and so on, but really what you should see is that you become attractive and people inside your market will start seeing you, and you will get that fame, and you will really have those very positive results coming off of that, right? When people generate leads, what they really mean is like, look, there's a company here and they may or may not want to work with you and is likely garbage, and the closing rate on it is likely going to be between 2 to 5%, right? Not 20 to 50, but 2 to 5, because there's no fit. But what we do is we help you shout your fit to your local market, which is why the closing rates are 20 to 40%. And that is, of course, the correct way to not transform your business, right? But just communicate your business so that companies can come to you and buy your stuff. That's really what we are very, very good at. So yes, that means target market fit, and that means that you're actually getting a mature marketing process with us. So we bring your MSP to life, become the best known MSP in your city, pop up in a huge search range, become incredibly attractive to everyone looking, and stand out like the service-oriented MSP you are between all the soulless mediocrity. And that's really what your prospects will see when they look at you when you're working with us. Plus a little bit more on the MSP Launchpad formula. So of course, we've done this so many times that we have all the assets, the data, the experience for the USA, Canada, England, and Australia. So there's no insecurity about targeting and stuff like that because we just know what to do, which is good. Now, also, since we know specifically that you are busy as hell, you really need zero marketing knowledge working with us. So you can just sign up, get started, and we'll take care of it. Also, this will require minimal impact on your operations and also minimal impact in terms of an executive workload. I mean, sure, there's onboarding, but there's a one-time process. And around that, the actual hours you have to invest in this is like slim to none. Then there's no need to invest in cold calling or other avenues of marketing that aren't very effective and haven't been for the last 10, 15, 20 years. Other companies may still be selling it. I don't really care about that. I'm not stuck in what worked 20 years ago. This is the thing that's the 80-20 principle right now. And I like to go for efficiency and following the data. So your customers will want to buy, and that means that there's no cycle of endless rejection as the LinkedIn leads and cold calling leads and these other kind of leads where you need to go to the meetings and then it's like, hey, you're going to pitch your services and you're going to have your little introduction. And then, maybe one sale out of 30 meetings will close, but you need to prepare all the proposals. You need to go there every single time, etc. Like, who has time for that? That doesn't make sense to me at all. But in your case, with our system, the customers will actually reach out to you because they like you specifically. Also, we collaborate really well with marketers and salespeople and VPs of business development, etc. So if you are a busy founder, don't worry. Assign someone in your executive team to us, and we can work with them like a treat. So, as you may understand, when you work with us, because we are going to basically do what's necessary for you to become insanely attractive, that also means that when other businesses look at you or considering partnerships or the Chamber of Commerce and BNI, when they look at you, they'll feel insanely attracted to you, which is good. It makes it a lot easier to foster partnerships with local companies that aren't necessarily in terms of a, let's say, direct customer kind of relationship, but more of a, hey, we're going to refer business to each other, etc. These are things that become much, much, much easier if you have the best reputation in the city. Alrighty. Then also, again, this works because we're inbound marketing specialists. We would not be able to make you this attractive and to make people pick you if this wasn't the only thing that we were doing. Like, this is hard work. And it's not hard work anymore, but it's like figuring this out took a lot of time. And I think that most other generalist agencies, when they disperse their efforts in a lot of different areas, one, you're going to struggle with the fact that they're going to, by definition, invest in areas of marketing that are less effective. But two, they also won't be able to really optimize for the 80-20 principle. So both your time and the quality of your lead flow and the number of lead flow will be diminished just because they want to, spread a wider net. You'll find that these companies also won't guarantee their performance, by the way. Okay, so a few more things on the right. So we have some testimonials here. One from Jeremy, which I mentioned before, but again, he said that, hey, I never really seen results before MSP Launchpad, and we have loads and loads of testimonials like that because, many MSPs have tried like 3, 4, 5 marketing vendors before they end up with us. And it's always the same, right? It's like, hey, I never got results before MSP Launchpad. So Jeremy is also one of those. You go to our testimonial page, many of those. But Jeremy also says, like, onboarding was really easy, low effort, and I loved it. And the reason that I also copied in the next testimonial is because I want you to have all sides of the story when you're working with us. Because this person says that actually onboarding was a lot of work. So it depends on which person that you're talking to. But he also says that, and Jeremy says that, and really everyone says that, also Jonathan underneath here says it, is that our process is a 10 out of 10 score, right? So extremely good, very thorough, really help someone like me who's clueless, right? That's also, Jonathan also said that, saying like, hey, I'm learning things here that other marketing agencies should have told me years ago. Jonathan wasted 6 figures in his testimony. He wasted over $100,000 on marketing before signing up with us, just like Jeremy, just like all the other people, all the MSPs wasting all their money before they finally are like, okay, well, we'll invest in the correct thing, right, to actually make it work, and give us a 10 out of 10 score, really signifying like, hey, this process is different from everything else. So then, the 3 ways of working with us. So we have a do-it-yourself implementation program. We have a done-for-you service delivery. So if you really want to be completely hands-off, done for you. And then we also have a hybrid model, which is cheaper. Actually, it's a lot cheaper. It's like 50% of the price. But you have to do a little bit more, and your exposure is not going to be as big, but still probably effective for like 95% of the markets. Okay, so let's take a look at them. Oh, by the way, I'm at your service, like MSP Launchpad's at your service. So switching between these models, everything's possible, right? We're very flexible. We're here to help you grow your MSP. So just reach out if you have questions. It's not like I'm not going to force you straight into like, this is how the process needs to be. We're not like that, right? We're here to help you grow. Okay, so the do-it-yourself. So the do-it-yourself is called MSP Inbound Leads Mastery, right? You may have seen this on our website. If you haven't already, go to the landing page because you can see the pricing and things there. Very transparent about everything. And this is really where you build your own lead generating system. So everything that we talked about, you just basically do that yourself. And it's made really easy because we have a digital portal with video trainings that you go through, and it has all the workbooks and the little step-by-steps, the SOPs and things like that, including all the targeting lists and including all the Google Ads data and the keyword list and negative keyword list and everything you really need that you also can't get generated by AI. The only reason that we have this information is because we have done this 100 times, and ChatGPT doesn't have this information, right? This is proprietary. That's also the reason that we have complete startups in this program, because the program is very affordable, all the way up to 10, 20, 30 million a year MSPs, because they need this information. Like, what kind of blogs actually bring customers? Like, who knows? ChatGPT doesn't, right? But we can tell you. Okay, so inside that program, you also get weekly access to me to QA your stuff and so on during the group coaching sessions. And there's a community and so on. You don't need any marketing knowledge, as I mentioned before, but it really does help if you're just like a little bit comfortable with using SaaS and stuff like that. Clearly, right? You need to be able to work a computer. That does mean that if you are an engineer or you are an office admin, you are perfect for this, right? Zero marketing knowledge, comfortable with SaaS, works like a dream. Also, if you are a business owner, then I want you to know that I'm not expecting you to build out this entire system yourself. So there is this initial thing that's super cool for executives to do. It's where you make all the high-level decisions, you do all the interesting stuff. But if you then want to get someone else, like a team member, to actually build out the online presence, there's a handover period. So you literally do it, and it's like, sorry, you go through the first 2 modules, and then once you're done with that, you just copy your files, give it to your team member, and he will then build everything out. And the program facilitates this because, again, we're really aware of the fact that MSP business owners are busy, and we try to make everything as easy as possible for you, right? Sometimes you have to do something, clearly, but that means you really have to do it. And if another agency is not asking you to do that, then it's really bottlenecking your results. Alrighty, so I think that pretty much sums it up. Like, I think this program is like insanely affordable for what you're getting. It's an awesome value, and I think every MSP on the planet should purchase this, or they're robbing themselves blind, honestly. Then we have our done-for-you service delivery. This is premium, this is custom, this allows you to crack into the most difficult markets. It allows you to expand to multiple cities. We do custom work for you. There's landing pages, there's loads of A/B testing, there's lots of human hours from my team. And this is really when you're, let's just say you're doing a couple of million a year and you're serious about growing to 10 or 20 million a year, then this is the program that you want to have. It gets you set up for scaling straight away, so we can start scaling into multiple cities as quickly as possible. It gets you set up with a completely custom domain, completely custom brand, everything. And it is chef's kiss level of marketing. We start MSPs 2 times a month, So we keep everything nice and streamlined. We build everything in the 2-month period, like clockwork, by the way, because we streamline everything. And if you are a mature MSP, then this could be a very, very good program for you. In terms of the hybrid model, so the hybrid model is where we take this, but then we implement it for you. So you remember that I was talking about that handover period. Basically, when you have that handover period, you don't hand it over to your internal team members, but you hand it over to us, right? So of course you can build it out yourself, but if you're like, well, actually I don't want to build this out myself, can you please just give me a cheaper way to work with you that will still allow me to grow in my market? Then the answer is the hybrid model. You go through a shortened version of inbound leads mastery, because you don't need to do everything inside inbound leads mastery. There's also mindset in there and other things that are important when you're really learning how to grow your own business. But if you want us to build it out for you, some of these things aren't as necessary. So we cut that because, again, we're really aware of how precious your time is to you. And then we take your inputs and then we build it out. So whenever you are then ready to take on this and start working with it yourself, we just transfer the things to you and then you own everything at that point. So what else is important to know here? Inside the do-it-yourself platform, at the point of making this video, we have about 10 website templates that, of course, get completely adjusted, tweaked with AI, completely fit to your brand, which depends on your target market, and streamlined, easy. We help you limit your choices. We point you in the right direction, like think like this, think like this, think like this, etc. But that does mean that with the hybrid model, you get 1 out of those 10 templates, whereas with the done-for-you service delivery, you get something that is a lot more custom. If that makes sense. Actually, you know what? Let me show you some differences. Okay, so you may have already seen some of these websites in other videos that we have, but for example, here on top, you see their big promise, you see the introductions to their offer, you see why they are a good fit, right? You see the keyword optimization, you see a team that you want to work with, you make it easy to call, get outsourced IT services from the best in North Atlanta, 9-time winner, got 10 users, enjoy fast business IT, solid security, and free access to some of our services. 1 call is all you need, right? You move in here, you get the word from the founder. We answer 99% of calls in under 1 minute. This is the typical problem in their market. We have an attractive story and then straight into the offer, right? Because people have the attention span of a goldfish. That's right, no extra charge for on-site visits. We win the awards, lock-in, there's no flexibility, etc. We even do Apple and so on, right? So this is an example of an MSP website that really, really converts, and this is custom, right? So this would, for example, be our MSP Growth Accelerator program. Then here, another example that you also may have already seen in another website. So this is a completely different brand and a completely different way of positioning. But what we do is we help you position in a way that fits your MSP, even if that means that it's a little bit more like small looking, right? Because the previous company looked larger and this one looks smaller, but that's the point. It helps them attract their exact customer avatar. So if, for example, you're looking at the Inbound Leads Mastery Program, which is our do-it-yourself, then you would get templates that look like this. So, and then you would optimize that with your own pictures and your own copy and your own offer and so on. So you would just go through that flow and then you would fill out these templates to crush in your local markets. And you can see that these templates are already way, 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 way better than all the MSP websites in your markets. Like really, just take a look. So here, more designs, but all the same flows, because these are the flows that we know works because we have done this so many times that we have A/B tested, heat mapped, we've done all this stuff. So if you're looking for optimal performance, whether you get the Growth Accelerator programs or a hybrid model or Inbound Leads Mastery, there's always something that would fit for you. In other words, just, get on a call and I can help you choose if you're confused. Alrighty, so let's continue from here. In terms of our performance guarantees, so they really depend on the package. So just reach out on a call and then we'll talk about it. Most of the time or actually all the time, it is connected to leads being generated, right? Because in the end, that's what it's all about. So most of the time, there is some sort of thing that needs to be hit. So for example, we specify some metrics. There are things that both you and I need to do in order to make this work, even though your responsibility is minimal, often limited to onboarding. But it's tied to that. Like, you do need to do that, because if you don't do that, then obviously it's not going to work. Other companies don't make you do some of these things, and that's why you get zero results, right? We know what's necessary, we tell you to do it, and then if you do it, we guarantee our performance from that point on. Doesn't take a lot of time, very easy, no marketing experience required, right? It's about partnership. So for Inbound Leads Mastery Program, the guarantee at this point, but might change in the future, is that if you implement it and it doesn't work, which it will always, but suppose it doesn't, then we'll come in to fix it, because clearly it wasn't done correctly. And if that doesn't work, then we refund the whole thing. It's never happened. Like, it works, but the performance guarantees are just here to really point out that it works. And I mean, this is legally binding, so obviously we would have to refund this because we're promising it, otherwise we'd be in trouble. Okay, so performance guarantees exist. Also, we don't really like to hardcore tie you into contracts, because I hear so many complaints about that. When MSPs come to me, they say like, I'm still stuck in a marketing contract with someone else, and I hate it. Like, I'm getting really bad performance, but I still have 6 months to go with them and stuff like that. So I just decided not to do that. So the contracts with us, they don't hardcore tie you in. You're always free to leave at any point in time. On top of that, I like to make you own the assets as quickly as possible. So of course, if we build the website and everything, and then we set up all the campaigns at the very beginning, there is a minimal amount of time before you actually own everything, and that depends on the package. At the point of filming this, with the growth accelerator programs, it's 6 months, and the hybrid, because they're so hybrids like way too affordable for what you're getting, it's 12. Before you own everything, you're always free to leave, but at that point you also own everything, take it with you, etc. And if you do want to build before, we can always work something out. Like, I'm not a hard person to work with. I think that you can see that through the video. So I try to take care of you, no hardcore tying contracts, and I really help you own everything as quickly as possible. Then also start quickly, easily, and I honestly think at a killer or the best value in the market. And you get all of our experience to take care of you. And let's not forget that you also become a badass in the process, right? So aside from, because you work with us, just the natural exposure, you saw the reviews from Jonathan and the other people, is like, hey, I'm really leveling up here as an entrepreneur. That's a nice side effect to have, because we do actually educate and show you how everything works, because then, well, you know, and it's important that we both know what needs to be achieved here. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense to me to not share the information with you on what we're moving towards, right? After all, we need to do this together. So there is that level of understanding, but also there's just the glory and the admiration of your friends, family, and all the businesses in your local market when your production quality and your content is insanely high, right? So that's also a nice plus. To summarize, if we can take you on, because as you know, we don't work with everyone. If you haven't watched that video yet on who's the right fit, I think the video is called Who We Can Help and Who We Cannot Help. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. But if we can take you on, I think it's a really luxurious to be in, because I really try to protect you as much as I can. And we do the best work for you that we possibly can. Use is, I mean, I really like him. We've become friends over the years, but it's funny because our designer dug up this email from somewhere, and this is Use saying, hey, I would like to thank you for the hard work. I got my first customer because of you. And then later it's like, hey, I got my best commercial week ever. And this is someone that's a little bit more recent, where he's saying, this is the first time I had 3 discovery calls on the same day. But he literally went from 0 to having multiple discovery calls a day, not just 2, but 3. That's a big difference from 2, right? And that's also in his testimonial. He says, like, it all started with MSP Launchpad for me. And if you are a young company and you can afford the do-it-yourself, then I'd recommend it, because, you know, it's nice to be able to grow your MSP. Here we have Tom. Also, really admire Tom. I think he's a great person. He also says, you can see it here a little bit lower. It says, it's definitely a differentiator for us in our market. People in our metro area know of Sterling because we have such a heavy presence on the web. Right? So he's saying, like, hey, because of our heavy presence on the web, the local market now knows about us. He also added 300,000 annual recurring revenue in the first year. He's currently at 400,000. He's probably already at 600,000. He said he'd probably be at 600,000 in like a month or something after that call. And that means that what took him first 12 months with us now only took him 6 months. So his trajectory is like really skyrocketing. And having 600,000 added in annual recurring revenue, he has great retention. So that value is going to stay with him for the next 10 or 15 years of every year having 600,000 extra. And that's just now, because half a year from now is probably another 300K added, right? So it goes up. By the way, the reason that I quite like this is because he doesn't even run ads. Like, this is all organic, which is crazy. He should run ads, but he doesn't. So we just make it work like this. Here we have Tom, and Tom says, also before MSP Launchpad, 0 results in 18 months. Now I have lead flow, and MSP Launchpad also helped me expand to different markets. We have Lee, I think we saw this one earlier, 14 leads in the first month. But really, look, for all these companies, it all started with a call, right? So if I could say a final thing, is that not having lead flow is incredibly expensive. It is very achievable. In fact, we guarantee it if we can take you on. You have to make minimal changes in your business. There is like a minimal, how would I say it? There's a minimal strain on you as a business owner if you're watching this, or as an executive. In fact, the lead flow will allow you to hire more people to make your workload easier, right? So this is really the ticket to become less stressed and to make more money. We only have one method of doing it, which is inbound marketing, but it's a huge field, and we have within that one method, we have different avenues of funneling the business owners to your conversion mechanism, which is often your website or a landing page or something of the sort. In other words, we're really good at what we do. We optimize for the 20/80 principle, and we really squeeze the maximum out of your budget and your personal time. And when I talk about your personal time, like the amount that you have to spend on this is, of course, if you do it yourself, it's more. If you make us or ask us to do it for you, the amount that you have to work on this is like freaking tiny, right? And you can sit on your chair and grow your business with more of these sales qualified referral style leads. Okay, that's it. I hope this gave you more of an idea on our done for you, do it yourself, and hybrid models. And the pricing's on our websites. You can find everything, but of course, just schedule a call, right? I'll see you there. Thank you. Bye.